All right, Marcos. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to finally talk to you face to face. Well, virtually face to face, anyways.
Yeah, that's right.
Then I don't know when it was when you would have bought the Empyrean for the first time, but I feel like we've been chatting for a while, at least now, a couple of years, I think.
I did a little bit of research, and it was like I think November of 2021 was when I received it. I think
It makes sense. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I remember doing a bit of a. Well, I was probably still doing like pre-order stuff at the time, I think.
Yeah, I think you
And
did
so
mention in
Yeah,
our little conversation.
yeah. That's what I've been doing most of the time. Although I tried this year to like get ahead a bit and stock up.
Yeah,
Then it becomes a matter of like building all the pedals, which is pretty time consuming. And it's
Right.
a little easy. It's a little easier to do that when you have to build them because you have to send them to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a little harder to
How-
get ahead when no one's bought them yet.
How's the supply chain issue? Have you had any problems with getting anything?
No, the only issues I ever really had were just like trying to source old parts. Like if you want to get specific about germanium transistors or bucket brigades that go in the chorus of the flanger that I did. But I kind of got tired of dealing with that stuff. So I've been slowly like changing things to newer, more available parts, like when I can. I was initially trying to find the same op amp that Boss used for the chorus pedal. But like, I didn't really notice a difference if I just used like standard
Right, something you
Texas
get.
Instruments one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So I started doing that, and then I'm trying to. Well, I think I'm good with it now, but I wanted to figure out how I could like replicate the CE1 as closely as possible, but using an MN 3007, which is twice the number of stages. But like, there's a company X Vibe that's remaking them, and
The 37 or the 32?
3007.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I can order those directly, get them brand new, instead of trying to like scour the internet to find some new old stock MN 3002 or something equivalent. And same with the Electric Mistress. The original one used a Redicon chip. It's like RD5106A, I think, and those are super hard to find too. So like the one that
working ones,
Yeah. I only ever had a couple. So it's like I did the schematic like just like the original, but it's like, what good is it if you can't find the chip? So I figured out how to make the flanger like very close with the MN 3007 too, which like when I first started doing this, I would have had no idea how to like implement or make changes to a circuit for a bucket brigade, like understanding how to bias it, all this stuff. But, having wanted to do that, wanted to make it easier to make them like, no, like, oh, I can keep making these. I'm not just going to have to like, oh, I can only find 20 chips. I can only make 20 pedals. Like, I didn't want that ever to be the roadblock. So I've put that stuff off for so long. Just part of it was I wanted to get both the circuits ready with the MN 3007. And then it's also been now I've like had to go back and kind of redesign it a little bit, which I was putting off for a while.
Is that really time consuming? Trying to like you said, engineer basing off the newer chips?
Yeah, like at first I had no idea how to even approach it because like in both cases you're dealing with a bucket brigade that has a different number of stages. And in the case of the Redicon chip, it only takes in like a single clock impulse and divides it internally. So you need to take into account the clock frequency that's basically setting the delay time. Because if you don't have the same delay time, the effect's not going to sound the same. I mean, that's
right.
Delay time is basically what makes the difference between flanger and chorus. Even like it's like a pretty big difference. But
and we're talking milliseconds, right? Like it's not like something that's a huge difference on paper, but these are like micro adjustments.
Yeah. Like if you look at the CE1 data sheet and then like work backwards, I think you're getting somewhere between, I want to say 1 and 4 milliseconds. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's like, if you were to just like, I figured out like a way that I could straight up sub in the MN3007. Like basically if you just lift up pin 1, you can stick it in the socket and it'll work. But you're making no changes for the delay time. So basically it's going to be twice as long. You're going to get something like, you should hypothetically get something like 2 to 6 milliseconds. This doesn't sound like a big difference, but it's like the effect is going to be a lot more dramatic. Just because the difference between the dry signal and that affected signal, it's longer, and it's like sounds more wavy, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but
no, I did see an Instagram post. I don't know who or where I saw it say like the time difference from like a chorus to a phaser to a flanger and then a delay was like fractions of a second, which I thought was really fascinating because like on pedals it'll say like a 2-second delay or a infinite amount delay or whatever, and like I didn't know that, it's fascinating.
I didn't think about it at all until I started looking into this and then figured out like, oh, like that's really all the difference is. Like, so a flanger is just a little bit faster than that. We're talking like, again, it's like in the millisecond range. Chorus, it can get a bit longer. But like you need a lot of milliseconds before it starts to sound like a repeat, like a flanger sounds like the delayed signal is like basically on top of the other one, but it's like, because it's so fast. And it's got the only other difference between flanger is that it's got the ability to like have that feedback. Chorus doesn't feedback. Typically, like a chorus is just a single delay, and the delay time switches, modulates between, 2 set points with a certain rate. Flanger is the same, but then you can also introduce that feedback. So that's pretty cool. I did some experimenting with, I actually picked up the Effectron 2, that rack delay that John talks about using it on Stadium Arcadium, a blue rack one, right? Unit. Yeah. And you can change the delay time in that from like pretty long all the way down to like milliseconds. So like getting into flanging territory. So just with that delay unit, I was like, oh, like I'm gonna recreate a flanger effect and a chorus effect, and you can do it. I was like, this would be a cool video to make. I haven't done it yet because I have lots of ideas, so I never do them. But it would be cool to go through that and just like show like this is what 1 millisecond or a few milliseconds sounds like. Turn up the the regeneration or the repeats or whatever. You can get that flanger sound.
Just explaining how to implement the settings for whatever it is you need to do with it.
Yeah, and just it's pretty. I don't know. I don't know if it has much use or anything, but it's cool just to like understand, oh, this is just all delay, flanger, chorus, echo. It just has to do with the delay times.
Well, I mean, it'll be useful because we do put it in certain different categories, but it's all technically the same thing, like what we're talking about. It's just fractions that separate a chorus from a flanger, but it's all kind of the same thing,
Yeah. And
nobody talks about that.
Well, I have seen it come up a bit, like on forums and stuff, just when looking into this stuff, and kind of people having the realization that, the only thing, like probably the most important thing that makes one chorus pedal sound different than another is they're probably sweeping through like a slightly different delay time range. I mean, there's probably other things that color the tone too, like if you look at something like the CE1 with the level control, but if you're looking just at the effect, there's probably some subtle differences from brand to brand or from model to model. That's why they don't sound the exact same.
What does the vibrato channel, is that a separate circuit in the CU1?
The only difference is it's using a different LFO, I think.
Okay.
I think the vibrato mode switches and you get a triangle. So I guess the effect is just a little bit more pronounced.
Yeah.
And you have that extra ability to control the rate and the depth separately, like for the CU1. Yeah. Speaking
of triangle, I just got a Nord Lead 2, the synth that John uses for warm tape, and it has the different shapes, as a wave shape, a triangle shape, a sawtooth, and you just change it from one to the other, and it's like completely different. It can go from like really harsh to something really soft and lush, Yeah. And
that's
I've been trying to dabble with that for a little bit.
Is that the one that like Red Hot Chili Riffs just did the video of?
Yeah,
recently.
Same one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was planning on do that video, and then he uploaded it, and so now I just have this synthesizer just sitting there because there's no real reason to like upload it at the same time as Cohen,
Yeah. Oh, you could still do it.
Yeah, one of these days.
Doesn't matter.
The back burner.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that, man.
I was really hoping for him to put his how he patched the settings. He said he was gonna probably do a video of it, and he hasn't. And I can't find the sound yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm having trouble with that.
Oh, you should just ask him.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things like you have to plug cables in to...
No, that's like those are just modular synthesizers. Yeah. So like it's like a pedal, right? You just patch one into the other. But a synth kind of, it's like an all-in-one.
So internally you're able to do keyboard. That basically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it has its own like programmed sounds that I kind of have to go through.
Right.
But I don't know if you can literally change it. I'm not sure if they were all programmed from the same, I don't even know what to call it, but just like the whole control panel. I don't know if the sounds were either made on a computer or from the instrument itself, and then just saved and loaded onto the memory card inside.
Okay.
But I've been like trying to let it use the synth because there's like certain principles that you want to know.
Right. Yeah, that's a whole other ball game.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
You did.
So is this a studio where you've been recording your videos?
Yeah, I'm in like this little rehearsal space. It's like a building in the middle of nowhere. There's a bunch of bands that rent out rooms and rehearse.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was. I used to rent a similar thing and like share with other bands when I was living in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Now that I'm back in a small town, I have my own space though, which is nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. Is that like your like a garage?
It's basement, unfinished basement kind of workshop. Yeah. It's
that's nice just to be able to get out of bed and just walk on down there, right?
Yeah, but it's also like it would at the same time I think be nice to have a separate place to go and like work. I don't know. This is also where I practice guitar, so it's it can be easy to.
This place is only like literally less than 3 minutes away from my house.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
close.
Very fortunate.
Yeah. But still probably enough to, it takes a little bit of effort to get there. So when you do go, like you want to make your time worth it.
It's crazy. I'll come in here at somewhere between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, and I'll stay here till 3 or 5 in the morning, Just time flies really fast when I'm in here.
Yeah, I did think you mentioned that in one of the videos you recorded. Like it was like 3 a.m. or something. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
I think it's time to wrap up.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty crazy how long like making a video can be. Like even if
It
it's
is.
just like a 5-10 minute video, like a lot goes into it.
Yeah, I've gone through a couple revisions of like some episodes. Like either I didn't like the way I articulated some words, or I didn't just like my playing in general. I would just start from scratch all over again.
Yeah, yeah. I get that, man. I used to say the same stuff over and over again, like several takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I don't just take the time to like write up a little script or just find some sort of starting point. Like I'll just start talking and then I don't know where to move on from there or how to transition to the next point or topic that I want to get to until I actually do it. And then I'll start editing and then I don't like the way it flowed or something. And then like I said, I would just start from scratch all over again.
Yeah, it's I think you got to find a balance between like planning and scripting, but also like trying to sound not too like a robot.
Right.
Which, when I've been doing that where I, write out like pretty close to exactly what I'm going to say and practice it a bit. But that takes a lot of time. It's like, I don't know how sustainable that is. Like if you wanted to put out videos regularly, it'd be a lot easier to just like set up the camera and talk. But yeah, when I do that, I feel like it just becomes way longer. It's so easy to pause and to ramble.
Yeah. And a lot of it just becomes unnecessary, and then you spend more time editing. And now you're just putting more time into that process when you could have just, took the time to just sit down and say what you want to say and get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like you're a lot like me too, where you're like a bit of a perfectionist. You don't, you're pretty critical of what you're going to put out.
You're your worst critic.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think either way though, like whether you script it or whether you just put the camera on and start talking, like if you keep doing it, eventually it's going to get better and you're going to get better at, the whole process.
Yeah, for sure. I've only been making videos since March. Not a lot, obviously, but it's definitely gotten easier as I'm finding my own process little by little. And I just learned from what I did from the previous video, and I'll just implement that in the next one. It's definitely getting into a better sort of, process of just getting things done.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. And your videos look good. Like, and I don't know, you said you're critical of it, but one thing I thought about before we talked was, or, since watching your videos was I thought you were, had a good sort of calm demeanor and, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I watch people, especially early on when they're starting making videos and it's kind of awkward, the pauses and stuff like that. You seem pretty comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's just, if it's the pauses, that's just me cutting and editing everything to fit together so that it sounds like I'm like talking, but like even right now, like I'm trying to find the words. Yeah. But a lot of it's empty silence, and that's just me cutting from one thing to another. I learned a lot from like filming, not filming school, but in photography and just in general, when you want to, sometimes you just got to take a pause and really think of what you want to say next. So while I'm filming, I would just like say something, and I'll just try to keep, and if I can't find the words, I'll just literally just freeze until I could think about it, and then I'll move back into it, and then it just looks like a seamless transition. But in reality, it's just like me struggling on finding the words that I want to say. And the calm demeanor, that's just kind of me,
Yeah. I think that's a good way to do it. Then it's better than, just continuing to talk and not actually saying what you wanted to say. It's like, it's not a big deal if you have those little cuts and pauses. And if what you're actually doing is like not saying anything, it's going to make it a lot easier to like find those cuts and edit that together.
Right.
So I'd say that sounds like a good way to do it. I'd say.
Yeah.
Part of the reason I wanted to do this podcast was just to like get over that holding myself back from talking on camera or putting stuff out. It seemed like a pretty...
I really enjoyed the podcast, dude. I think I've listened to all of them at least twice.
Oh yeah, cool,
Yeah.
man. Thanks.
Like when I'm in here, if I'm like, I was re-listening to the Dave Simpson episode while I was setting up all my lights and stuff.
Yeah,
I was doing that yesterday, and I didn't even get done with whatever I was doing in here, but I did finish the podcast, and then I think I played Cohen's again. I think I got like halfway through it, but yeah, they're awesome, dude. I like that you're trying to do something with the community, because you know you're a part of it too, and you're in, obviously, and it's really enjoying. I don't know why a lot of YouTubers don't get together and try to. I mean, I don't even know what I want to say, but just get together and talk about what they're very passionate about, you know?
yeah. I mean, I think, I'm sure there are people that are doing it. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, and I try and listen to ones that are, I've been listening to a lot of the Chili Pepper ones, or, you know, I've listened to ones on like business or philosophy, stuff like that. Try and find something that's interesting to me, or like, I don't know. I don't typically listen to them just like strictly for entertainment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's cool to learn something.
Right.
Which makes me like wonder like if I can keep doing this with just like people who like Frusciante too, or make Frusciante content. Like, there's only so many people, I think. I don't know. It'd be cool to talk to some other people that are just like maybe other pedal builders or stuff like that. I'm not sure how to expand. Yeah.
That's the thing about podcasts, so you can go anywhere with it.
Yeah. I guess I'm just sort of stuck in this, you know, not sure if I want to keep like digging into the niche or like branch out a little bit, or when that's going to happen. I think it'll happen. It'll have to happen eventually, but I'm still just following the course of my own interests. Like, I think I have a lot to learn still from John's playing, and
same.
You know, still have a lot to learn in terms of building pedals too. So, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I've been toying around with lots of ideas lately, but like I always get in this bad habit of you know, announcing stuff before it's ready. And now I feel like I need to play catch up on a bunch of stuff before I can start putting new stuff out. But I'm already thinking about like new stuff that I want to do, and I just got to buckle down and
just got to get to it, dude.
Yeah, finish some of this stuff. Got too many things on the go, and then it stresses me out.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I recorded 2 videos in 1 week, and I put those out, and then I wanted to do a little kind of backlog, you know, that way I could have some sort of leeway, because like, you do want to, as a YouTuber, you do want to post on the regularly, but then, you know, things just started malfunctioning. I got things fixed now, but like that really pushed me back, and that would have been a nice time to have something ready to post. That way there wasn't just this like empty space of either like people wondering where I am, or if more videos are going to come out soon. But like that's another aspect of just getting in the flow of it. That way you have something as a backup, you know?
Yeah. I've never been in that position where I've had like a bunch of stuff done, or the only time I really had anything sort of long-term plan was when I started putting out those backing tracks on YouTube, which you know, turned out to be a good idea, just in terms of like getting more people to see my channel and stuff. But you know, I feel like I've been slacking on making like actual videos, and I want to get back to it, but when I get out of it, it's like really hard. It just becomes like harder to start again for some reason. I think, yeah, I tried to do, I did a live one where I tried to do like episode 3 of my series live, and it just it didn't go like how I wanted it to as smoothly. And, you know, it ends up being like way longer. Like, you know, I was doing like 6, 8, 10-minute videos, I think, something like that. And this ended up being like 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like not as good quality, the way the video looks, and longer. And yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but I just like, I wanted it to be, I guess, more in line with the other stuff. So I've been kind of like putting off redoing that as an actual video and like doing it better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get too hung up on silly things like that. Like I need to remake this video before I can like move on and do something else, or trying to do like that series chronologically, and feeling like there's a few stuff that I need to get out first before I can get into like what I really want to do with it, which is just like focus on a particular song or something and dig into the to the parts and the effects.
That's sort of where I'm at right now, because people want to see other, you know, like songs, for example, but I want to sort of introduce pedals little by little in the best way that I can. That way I just don't, you know, throw out everything all at once, because then I find that it's a lot less, I can't find the word, but once you hit this peak, you know, it's just like nowhere to go from there. So I'm just trying to build up slowly into something that makes more sense. That way people can understand, and that it's not as overwhelming, you know. The first vlog that I did, that video was like a 50-minute video, and it was really hard to find things that I needed to cut to get it down to like even 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But I remember there was just a lot of me, like you said, like either rambling or me just not getting to the point. But I found it like just doing that alone really helped with getting, because YouTube also does this thing. I realized that it tracks where or how long people stay to watch the video. And I find that longer videos do as well, because I don't know if that's from our bad attention spans now, but that's something I'm also trying to like keep in mind, you know?
Yeah. I guess that's what kind of got me when I was talking about like having this 30-minute live stream versus, you know, like a 8-minute video or something where it's like scripted and straight to the point.
Yeah.
It's tough because you don't want to spend all your time thinking about like, what can I do to make this I don't know, optimal or something, you know, like you're thinking so much about what the viewer is gonna think. And, but I think if you want to be successful, like you're gonna have to figure that stuff out.
Or just take it into account, you know.
Yeah, using the thumbnail.
That's why I have to tell myself all the time, like, just do. I want to create what I want to watch. Like if I was a fan of myself, you know.
Right.
Not because of myself, but like what I find interesting. Hopefully that'll translate into somebody else's viewership. Yeah,
I mean, if you yourself don't like it or aren't interested in enough to watch it, then it must be pretty bad. Yeah. No, I guess it's not a bad problem to have until it becomes like, you know, crippling to your ability to like actually act and put out stuff. So
yeah, man.
Hopefully, you know, let's both get past that, and we'll, you know,
for sure,
keep going. It's cool. It's cool because, like, you know, a lot of the people I talked to so far, or I guess Ollie doesn't have a huge following. I haven't put that one up yet, but like I picked basically like the biggest people, like YouTubers in this space to start with. Yeah, and you know, I was just thankful that they took the time to talk to me.
Yeah,
but they're obviously like at very different places. So like you and I now, like starting to make videos pretty close. Like I've made a couple like before, but I haven't really gotten into it. And
Yeah, man.
So I feel like, we're in a similar space and place, and if we can, continue, like I guess what I'm trying to say is it'd be cool to see us both grow at the same time. If we do continue to make videos, and yeah, I don't know, we can work together, help each other out, hopefully.
I'd be down for anything, my guy.
Yeah. It's great to talk to people, like I said at the start, I've talked to you for a couple of years now, I guess, and there's lots of people like that I've talked to and met through Instagram. Like, hopefully I can talk to some more of them on here. But like I assume you feel the same way. There's probably like not too many people locally that that are really into the Chili Peppers or Frusciante, or right? Like, I don't know. Maybe you live in a bigger place.
I haven't actively looked for it,
Yeah,
I've gone to a couple of live shows, and like they're there, but do a lot of people want to take the time to start something or a band, or I don't know, but it's not something I'm not against, obviously. Like, yeah, I'd love to get together with somebody like in person, to just do anything. A lot of friends, I've always been very creative. I always wanted to find some sort of outlet to do literally anything. Take photos, make videos, write music, do art. But I find that like a lot of people just don't have the inspiration to do it, or maybe they're too self-conscious, I find. But in terms of like, I'm in a music studio, right, or a rehearsal space. There's plenty of people here. I remember one day I was playing Scar Tissue, and like a few doors down from me, the band started playing like the bass part, the drum part. This guy was singing, and I was like, "Oh, that's freaking awesome! Why don't I go say hi?" Like, I don't know why I don't make friends like that,
Right.
Like, that's also me. Cool. Like, I'm kind of a shy person, but I opened up pretty quick. But I just taking that step,
Yeah, no, I understand, man.
Just awkward.
I was for a long time, like feeling the same way. I'm only lucky now to like be playing with some guys again, because I moved back to my hometown, and I like knew some guys, like a bass player at least, that was into it, and we were able to recruit some other guys that also like the Chili Peppers enough to just try and play them. So,
right.
But yeah, when I was living in Vegas. Good. Yeah, we just played a show for the first time. Like, well, first time together, and me first time like ever. So that was pretty nerve-wracking, but I'm glad that I did it. And
how long was the set?
I think we played 17 songs.
Oh wow. It's like a whole like Chili Pepper set.
Yeah, it was actually pretty close to like what one of their sets would be. I have it written down somewhere, but I don't think it's around here.
Yeah.
But we did like, I don't know, we cut it in half. We did like half and then
took a break in the middle.
Song. And then we tacked on one more at the end. We did a mellow ship,
nice.
Which was cool. Yeah.
Did you sing any of John's chorus parts?
I did try. Yeah.
Nice.
I can't get all of them. I mean, I don't even know how well I'm doing the ones that I did sing, but like I only started practicing really like the last couple of months, because up until then it was pretty hard for me to sing and play at the same time. Like, just to get just to play and like even say the words, like sometimes it's easier than others. Like if it goes, sometimes the melody really goes like in time with
you're
the
singing
guitar
or playing. Yeah, I know exactly like what you're talking about.
I actually find Snow to be like one of the easier ones to sing and play, just because it's pretty straight on the beat, like
right,
the melody and the
everything's
and the guitar
on the
part.
one, like it just lines up like you said.
Yeah, Yeah, but the chorus of like Scar Tissue was kind of tricky because it's kind of got a swing to it, and it's got that chord in the middle where it pauses on just the one hit. So I was having and like the chords start before the vocals, so I was having a hard time timing that one, but I kind of figured it out. Charlie's one though that I like can't even. As soon as I try and open my mouth, I just my playing gets all
the
messed
groove in your strumming hand, right?
Yeah, it's that one's because it's got like its own like
it's got
time.
the funk, but then you have this like just a standardized, when you're singing, Charlie's whatever, and I know how you feel, man.
Yeah.
One of the hardest ones for me is Desecration Smile.
Okay, I don't even know how to play that one.
La 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 la, but it's got this weird like there's like a 3-strum, 2-strum, 1-strum. And you kind of have to play that in a loop, but at the same time, you're trying to keep beat with whatever you're singing. But I just find just slowing it down, like really, really slowing it down helps a lot. And then it's like just repetition like anything else.
Right. Yeah, I could probably try that with some of these other, like Charlie, I don't know. That definitely helps like slowing stuff down to get really deliberate about it. Like I think I have a better feel now, but like when I was first starting out, like sometimes I would try and dissect a part so much to figure out like, okay, I should be going down and on this part and I should be doing an upstroke here, like really kind of breaking it down and making sure I was doing it the most efficient way possible. Like making sure that's like in time, you're not doing some weird thing like but
it's crazy when you put that into like a context of a band, because we like guitar players just practice in their room and they do their own thing, but then when you put it all together, you find that it'll throw you off, so then you kind of have to rework it in your brain. Like you said, with the upstrokes or the downstrokes or, playing something efficiently to your benefit and just to make it all connect with one another.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Well, it certainly becomes different when you're like used to playing. Like I used to pretty much just play exclusively to like backing tracks or like the actual song, on my own. And then when I first started rehearsing with the drummer and the bass player, we were also playing along with the backing tracks, but just like the drummer is listening to a click and we were playing Anthony's vocals. So even though that's like kind of the same, it was different, like because we were all sort of trying to play along with the backing track. It wasn't exactly the same as playing along with the song. And then you take the backing track out of it, and your tempo like kind of has the potential to fluctuate. That's a whole other thing too. And it's like that's probably the most fun, just playing with people in a room, anyways. But it's it's interesting how like sometimes you can speed up even just for like a part of the song or something. We had a pretty fast stretch of the show where I think we played Other Side, Snow, and Tell Me Baby. There might have been one more in there, but we played them like, and they were like way faster than they should have been. Like I don't even know how I got through like Snow. I was like, this is way too fast.
That's just the adrenaline.
Yeah, I think John talks about that in one of those podcasts, like the live playing. Like if it feels like you're playing a little bit fast, you're probably playing really, really fast. Yeah, I listened back to the recording and we somehow got playing Snow really, really fast. And I was pretty aware of it.
That would have been cool to see, dude. Like I don't know if you somehow like recorded that whole session of you guys playing.
Yeah, actually my wife was there. She recorded videos of it all on her phone, so nice. I did watch it all. Yeah.
You just watch it back and you're like, what are we doing?
Why are we way off tempo? Definitely those ones stuck out to me being fat. Like I didn't realize it as much in Other Side and Tell Me Baby because it's like a little bit. Oh, there's not as many notes. Like I'm not fitting every quarter note in there like I am with Snow. Or every 16th notes, I guess. I mean, and yeah. So
I've also found that to be true with first wake up, and if you put like a fast song, you know, if you're listening to something like on your headphones, like you find that song is going to be a lot faster because your body's still waking up. You feel like sluggish, and like if you really like pay attention, you'll realize like, oh wow, like the song's going really fast for some reason. But that's like your brain just trying to wake up, you know.
Right,
it's like the
right.
opposite effect of feeling slower and then trying to speed up to compensate.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if I've noticed that. I have noticed that as I've gotten like a bit better at playing the instrument, it does seem like, I guess it's like the illusion of time feeling like it slows down. But I remember even like when I first started playing guitar or first tried to learn Snow, like I thought just the tempo of even like strumming the chords in the chorus was pretty fast. Like I had a hard time like hitting every one. But you know, now that just feels like, you know, second nature. It's pretty easy to play at that tempo. Whereas, you know, I'm sure there's something that can equally challenge me where I am at now. But it's interesting when it's like something feels really fast, and then as you get better, like you can kind of, a good analogy for it is like, I started actually playing like Guitar Hero. That's kind of how I got interested in the instrument. And I got really into it to the point where I was playing on Expert, and there was this cheat you could put it on hyper speed, which like didn't really change the speed of the song, but it made the notes come faster. It basically made the fretboard like longer,
smaller.
You remember how the fretboard's coming at you? Because there was like if you just did the regular Expert, it seemed like the notes were like too close together, the speed it was moving.
Right,
so you move it faster, you can,
out.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it feels like. It's like stretching that time inside your head. Like you can see like the beats coming, and when you can't play that speed, it's like, oh, they're coming so fast. You know, they're just coming. But when you get comfortable with it, it's like, no, you can start to see it a little bit before it hits. You know,
that's how I got into guitar. Actually,
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero. Yeah,
that's funny.
I slept over at my aunt's house, and her boyfriend had an Xbox with Guitar Hero 2. I was like in 7th grade or something, and that's all I did for hours, just play that.
Yeah,
it just really fascinated me. It's probably like my OCD or something, but that's how I got into it.
I got super into it too, like to the point where it was like way too much time for sure. That's around the time I decided to put down video games. Like I never was a serious gamer, but we always did have like some consoles growing up, and I mostly played just like sports games or whatever. But yeah, I found myself spending way too much time playing Guitar Hero, and I think I was in high school at the time, and it stuck out to me. One of the basketball coaches. Before I was into music, I really played basketball. Like that was my passion. And I think he said something like, you know, if you put that much like time and effort into your basketball playing, like you'd be so much better, you know? And I was like, yeah, you're right. It kind of dawned on me like,
see, I was the opposite. I was still a kid, so that's what really like kickstarted me playing video games. You know, I bought all the Guitar Heroes. Rock Band was a big one too.
Yeah,
I actually started posting. There's YouTube videos of me playing Guitar Hero, trying to 100% the songs. You know, that used to be really big back in the day.
Yeah. No, I had I think there was an achievement on Guitar Hero 3, which is the one that I got hooked on. It was like get gold stars on 20 songs on Expert or 48 songs on Expert. I can't remember what it was, but I got that one.
Yeah, I remember those.
I had I think at one point I was ranked like 500th in the world for Threes and Sevens by Queens of the Stone Age.
No way.
The tricky one. Yeah. I think that one
I forgot they had like a leaderboard too.
Yeah, that was I didn't even like get perfect on it either. I think I was like 99% or something, but that one just had like some pretty tricky rhythms, I remember.
The one that I was most proud of was playing Through the Fire and Flames like all the way without, you know, losing or getting booed off stage when you don't hit all the notes.
Yeah.
That one took me
the
forever.
hardest part was just the intro for me. Like if I could get past that, and I used to have a hard time with it. I used to cheat just to get through the song. I made like a little elastic band that would hold down the green button or whatever the first one was.
Dude.
So I could just
taped it. I taped the green fret.
Yeah.
And then I played the rest, would pause it, and then take the tape off, and then play like I did normally.
Yeah.
I didn't have the reach for it.
Yeah, it was too hard to do like I don't know, hit the fifth button, I guess, or like, it was just easier to play that series of notes like with these four fingers, And
yeah, because it was all
some
the
people
like
used to do the tap thing and stuff.
Yeah. Good times. I don't know if you've seen like those like Twitch streamers play like jailbroken like versions of Guitar Hero with like fan-made songs. It is unreal. The things people can do with a guitar controller nowadays, it just rivals like what anybody did back in the day.
Right. I can't even imagine.
It's wild.
So you're telling me there's people that since that time, like when I was playing it, this is what, like 2008, I think, 2007, 2008, probably when I was. So you're telling me people like since then for the last 15 years have just been perfecting their skill?
Yeah, there's a community in that too, dude.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, I guess
I gotta send you some clips, like you were talking about, all the notes are so spaced in together. Just picture that, but on regular. And people hold the guitar weird. They're just strumming really fast, but it's just fascinating. Like to me, like that's still alive to this day.
Yeah, that's crazy. It made me want to pick up the instrument though. Like actually, it was the drumming from Rock Band that was this is actually kind of like what you're actually doing on a drum kit. So that gave me the confidence to try and play the drums a little bit.
You're just playing, you're like, oh, I'm actually really good at this. I could be a rock star.
I didn't have that thought, but I thought it was like, at least I can keep some
keep
time.
A rhythm.
Yeah.
I don't remember where I heard this, but I think I saw some like YouTuber talk to a Guitar Center manager during COVID, because I don't know if you've ever went into one. Like I went into my local one, like the whole wall was just empty because everybody was picking up an instrument and, quarantine and such. And the manager said, like, I don't remember the store being this sold out. The last time it was like that was during when Guitar Hero would come out, like people would just want to, that inspired hundreds of people alone.
Yeah, I heard about it like during COVID. I didn't like see any evidence of it. But that's cool. It makes sense.
I did. It was wild, crazy. Dude. Like I remember seeing like maybe one or two like Jacksons just on the wall, like, but everything else is gone. Right.
When I went in to get some strings. This is a store that has like a huge wall of guitars, right? Like we don't have Guitar Center in Canada, but like
just picture like
Long and McQuaid is probably the closest thing.
Stretched out.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, no, every time I go in there, it was always full, but I guess I was still in Vancouver for part of COVID, like the first part.
And
then we moved back. We don't have as big of a guitar store here, though.
Yeah, man.
What's your relationship like with guitar stores? You like going there or no?
I mean, when I figured it out, like, no, because, you don't know anything and you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing, because somebody's right next to you playing and they're like a old jazz player that has been doing it for 30 years and it's intimidating, And like, I get that. But like now I can go in, try something out if I wanted to. And like, I don't know if it's just the part of me that doesn't care what other people think, but like if I could just play something, feel out the guitar, then like, all right, cool. Like I usually just go there now because I either need strings or something for the studio, but it's never, I guess like their selection isn't really that wide. It's a lot of like beginner stuff. They do have like a certain little area where it's like higher end guitars, custom shop things here and there. But then you got to ask an employee for the key to unlock the guitar and the cable, and like I don't want that. Like I have that here. So like,
Right.
that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like to try stuff out really either. Like, I don't know if I've ever got past that, like, just awkward feeling of being in the store. And like, you know, you're not gonna, like, for me, one of the biggest things is like, I don't care to like buy any more guitars right now. So I typically am not going to like pick up a guitar because like, what's the point? I don't, think I'm going to buy it. I'd like to maybe try some pedals, but typically like they're in a glass case. So it's like same thing. You got to ask someone, and I'm not going to have like my guitar or my rig. So I don't know what it's like going to sound like on my setup, which is kind of the only thing that really matters to me anyways. And usually the pedals I want to buy, like I probably can't find them at the store. Like I'm usually after something specific. So that's part of it for me too.
It tends to be like the same thing from store to store also. Like they have a certain selection from certain brands. Not that they're not good, but like you said, it's just not what I'm interested in.
Yeah. I used to go regularly in Vancouver, but it was mostly just to like look at the used rack to see if there was something. I was just like looking at the used rack or like scouring Craigslist all the time.
Same.
But now I just trying not to buy any more stuff. So now my thing is kind of like, if I want something, I'm gonna figure out how to make it. Like at least in the pedal world.
Yeah, it's definitely more productive than like hunting it down,
Yeah. Could be potentially more costly, but if I can also figure out a way to like make it and sell it, then in the long run it should work out better. But
it's definitely an investment.
Yeah, of time and resources for sure. But I don't know, it's cooler to build stuff, I guess.
I think so.
Yeah. It's
like most of the stuff in here is pretty much hand built.
Oh yeah, like in your studio.
Yeah, like I have my little desk set up with like spacers for my outboard gear, my amp shelf, my pedal boards and such.
Nice. Yeah, I've been making my own pedal board too. I'm on like the third iteration of like the one that I've made out of plywood. I had a bunch before that too. It's nice to do it yourself because you can make it exactly how you want it.
Yeah, the big one I have is the second iteration, and I feel like I want to shrink it down even more, or just be able to like almost modular, like be able to stack it on top of each other. That way I can put it off to the corner when I need the space, or if I want to like break it out, I can just lay it all down. But like I'm still working that out.
Too many pedals, man.
Yeah, not enough room.
Yeah, I really tried to like cut mine back, and I'm always thinking about, do I really need this, or can I? I'm using like JFX now for a while. So like I do a fair amount of like sometimes I'll use some of the effects in there. That's been pretty handy, like for setting up presets for songs and stuff. I would like to get into making some videos about that too. Like I have showed it a little bit, but it's pretty crazy what you can do with these modeling things, man. Like, and I'm running stereo out, so like I've been trying to emulate kind of like some of the stuff he does on Stadium Arcadium.
Yeah.
So I've got like for Danny California, for example, I'm running my pedal board out in stereo from the CE1, and I'm into a model of a Silver Jubilee and a model of a jumped plexi. It's like the closest thing I think to a major. And that's just like my typical thing. And sometimes I'll have reverb on one side, but you can also like take both of those amps. So it's like the amp, the cab, the microphone, pan that both to one side, and then I can have that like going through a delay with like a fully wet delay with a single repeat, and I'll modulate the delay time between like, I don't know, 0 and 15 milliseconds. So it's basically like a double track, just like a bit of movement, so it's not exactly the same. And then I can put that through a filter effect, so I can get that like clean guitar on one side, and then hit a button to send a MIDI signal to bring in the next thing, which is like going through the filter. Yeah, pretty cool that you can just do that, and it's all like at the click of a button. And like, I don't know, people see like he used those Moog pedals live, like the Stadium Arcade. Well, I still got some of them. And it's like everyone wants to get that, but like I don't want to pay $1,500 for a filter. And it's like it's not like
something
it's not like that's
have.
even. Yeah, and it's like it's not even like he used that on the album, like he's using that to emulate what he did. Yeah, so it's like he's using that to emulate what he did. Like you can use something else to emulate what he did too, like it doesn't. Yeah, I feel like something like that, it doesn't need to be exactly the same. It's not like a DS2 or something, know.
If you're not gonna get it as close to like the studio version, like you said, yeah, for sure. There's that video of him demonstrating how he played I think the bridge section of the chorus section of Danny California, and you could see him trying to patch it into the synthesizer that he did use, or the modular effect in the video. It's on YouTube, but like you said, it's not what he used. What he used live wasn't what he used during the recording session.
Yeah.
I think even Josh Klinghoffer used the DM4 when he played Danny California. Like that can get pretty close to
the FM4.
The FM4.
Yeah. Like that spin cycle, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I actually had I was gonna make a video about this. Like I've got it in the bank somewhere in my head, but like everybody wants the FM4 for that spin cycle thing. But even that's like quite a bit different than what he's actually doing. And like people always also use that effect on the verse when it's like that's actually more similar to effect that he uses on the bridge section. Where he's singing. Yeah. Because that's the one where it's like a rhythmic, like controlled by an LFO filter. Whereas during the verse, it's more of like a low pass kind of envelope sound. And it's quite a bit different. I find that that's the one that I have the hardest time recreating though. Like whatever he's using to make that verse effect. Yeah, it's really hard to like actually match that on the studio, which is like probably why he hasn't really done that. Sometimes he uses the wah pedal, or sometimes he uses like that rhythmic filter live. Yeah, seems like on this. Sorry, I was just gonna say on this tour, it seems like he just plays like that part dry a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think somebody posted like him actually using an LFO. Like one of the shows, and like after that he just doesn't, like you said, he plays it dry.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing, like now that he's back in the band. I was really excited to like see him use the same pedal board that he used for Stadium, but it's like completely different. Yeah, like he doesn't have the fuzz right anymore. He doesn't use the DM4, but it's just whatever he had at the time.
Yeah, I was bummed to see that he wasn't using the Electric Mistress anymore either.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
You could partially blame MXR because they sent him a bunch of pedals, and he was probably all right, cool. Like I don't need to get anything else.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was too. Because definitely
smart like, on their end,
for sure. Using the Phase 90 again, a little simpler. And then, I guess I just assumed that was the reason why he had like the Echoplex and the MXR flanger and one more, I think.
The badass distortion.
Right.
the
and
reverb,
and the reverbs. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Do you have the Variac, the super
No,
badass?
it's like I'm trying to get like little by little what he's used because I want to do a video based on all his like lead pedals, But that's one I can go to a Guitar Center right now and grab probably, but I just haven't felt the need to right now in this moment.
The
I
cool
do
one.
have
I like it.
the Super Distortion. Is that the SD1 by
Like
Boss?
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have that one, and I think that's it in terms of like his newer pedals.
Yeah, I was trying to make I'm trying to find some of the parts for the super badass. Like I can't find a schematic for it, but I have found like one thread where somebody was tracing it, and I've kind of like been tracing it myself from a picture. But it uses all SMD components, so some of the like a lot of the capacitors and stuff don't have codes on them. So there's like some parts that I'm not exactly sure what they are. And there's like
is that hard to trace like with like a multimeter or something?
You can like use that to test the connections. I basically like got started with somebody had like taken a picture of the PCB on both sides and like colored over it to kind of like color the traces. So I got the feeling that there was a few mistakes or a few things missing. So I started doing the same thing. Like I just like was drawing over the picture in Adobe Illustrator. And like testing the parts of the multimeter that I was unsure of to check the connection. So I'm pretty sure that I can reverse, engineer the schematic or like at least like the connections. But yeah, I'm not sure about some of the components. So I was really hoping I could do like a sequel to the Empyrean with like some of the new pedals that he has on the board, because he has the Dynacomp now, the SD1, the Variac. So I was considering like putting those three in effect, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep 4-foot switches in that, like the Empyrean size, because I feel like it's a little bit tight. Like I think 3-foot switches would be ideal. But yeah, since I'm a little bit unsure of my ability to reproduce the Variac fuzz, I haven't done that yet.
That would be really cool if you found like you did say, like a sequel. Either include the Variac or maybe some other sort of different pedal that you could probably fit in there, just to like be able to expand what you already offer. I think that'd be really cool.
That's why, like, what's got me. I don't know if you saw my story that I posted the last couple of days. Like I was considering putting some other effects in with the C1. Oh, I put that picture, the Soul Squeezer.
Yeah, that's a dope name.
Yeah. I was thinking of just like I thought just using the song name was maybe a little bit too much. Like I don't know if there's any other instance of somebody saying Soul to Squeeze, like but Soul Squeezer is like close enough but different enough.
I like the graphic too. How it's red and it has those pinstripes.
I took a bit of the design from the Blood Sugar album cover on there. I'm not sure if I want to do that though. I would just kind of like playing around with that idea. Maybe if I did do it, it would be limited edition or something. But I have another idea for another one that I didn't talk about, but maybe putting some fuzz pedals together in it, like a little bit of different stuff. Because I did figure out I breadboarded a Dynacomp and an SD1 like last week or the week before. So I do want to I like the idea of putting these, kind of multi-effects in one thing. But I'm not sure, like, if I do, I don't want to, like, do something that's going to, like, kill off the Empyrean potentially.
Right.
Or like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to, like, go down this path, or like where I'm kind of recycling stuff but putting it in a different package. I do want to have more options though. So I'm feeling a little bit torn.
Yeah, I think that's like, personally, I think that's like the biggest problem of having the C1 in the Empyrean, kind of like cripples it a little bit, because it's something you would like, normally put like sort of at the end of the chain, and you can put things behind the C1, but you can't really put something in between the C1. I guess you do have the effects loops in the Empyrean, so like that's like a way you can get around that.
Yeah, I guess the thinking is just
like if you had the box of just like the fuzzes, for example, I think that'd be a lot easier to expand off of.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's my concern, is like if I do one where it's just like a 4-in-1 fuzz, which I am considering, it maybe nobody's interested in the Empyrean anymore. I don't know if it's, but what got me thinking about it is like I'm using the Empyrean now and like my clone of the chorus pedal, but I'm just switching off the preamp in the Empyrean. Like I don't need both of them.
And
it's like, it'd be cool if the Empyrean had the full chorus effect, but because there's 2 foot switches, it's like, well, it's not like I could just like take out the fuzz factory and put in the C1 or something. Like if I could do that, maybe I'd do that, but then it just got me thinking, well, if I have the C1 and I put the micro amp and the Dynacomp and like effects loops, so it's like all separate, then it's like pretty versatile, and it's like on its own, it's a pretty, you can shape your clean tone like a ton. So that'd be cool. And then just have one that's more like focused on distortion, kind of something I'm considering.
And then you could have one for like modulation,
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm going to have like, I really want to get out there, this guy, like, which really like, I'm pretty close. I just got to make some like tweaks to I did like a whole new PCB design. And it's working and it's good. But I need to just slightly change like where I have the holes drilled, and
I see.
Just like a couple things putting it together that I messed up on. I missed when I did the first like draft of the PCB.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's like one of those things where like, even though it's like a small change, it still requires me to like go in, like edit the files. Then I need to edit like there's some spreadsheets that go along with it for like parts placement and stuff.
Right.
And then it's going to take like a couple of weeks to get here. So it sucks that everything takes so long that, like if I put it off for like a week or something, then it becomes like
a month,
a long time from one version to the next. And then the other stuff gets up, I just put it off. So I kind of like what you were talking about for like videos, like batching videos, having them ready. I want to get to the point where I'm kind of like, I've got some pedals ready, like in the works, and then I can just focus on like actually making stuff around them to promote it. Because up until this point, I've been like, kind of like what I did this morning, like show a picture of a design, show a picture of a prototype, be like coming soon, and it's like, 6 months, 12 months later,
oh no,
still coming soon.
Yeah.
But I've never really done like a full marketing like campaign or something, it's always just been like, here's this thing that I built, go buy it.
Whenever
I haven't
it comes
even
out
done
something.
Yeah, like I've been meaning to do an updated video for the Empyrean, because you saw the new one. I like it's got some pretty significant changes like to the look and the design. And I've already sold like half of them have been that one, and I haven't even like updated the video yet to like show the difference.
But I mean, when you're in the moment like that, you do want to like you want to share it to people. You want to show it off.
I know.
See people's reaction. So it's kind of hard not to.
I know, and I've been struggling with that. Like, I want to show people like what I'm working on day to day, which sometimes it is working on new designs.
Man.
But at the same time, I think like,
and life just gets busy.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's better to keep something under wraps so you can like make a plan about it. Like that's at least I feel like it would be a good idea going forward. But
then
everything's always a lot more difficult than it seems. And figuring out how to like market a new product is like that. It's hard not to be excited and just like share things or.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody like faults you for it though. Do people like?
No,
often ask about it.
No, not like the pedals that haven't come out.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, but not so much. And I think like at this point, it's probably been so long that it's kind of like out of people's minds anyways, that it would be like a new thing coming in when I finally do release it. But it's definitely like something I've overthought, I guess, like unnecessarily, for sure. Because I don't know if you feel the same way, like when you first start like posting or making videos. Like I used to have this assumption, I guess, like, which is like ridiculous assumption to have, that like I didn't want to repeat myself because like people are seeing like everything that I'm saying or putting up, like I wanted it to be very like chronological and like tell a story and stuff. When I make posts or announcements, this or that, and it's like you got to realize not everybody's seeing everything you put on the internet. Like it's better to have more volume, even if you are, I think, repeating yourself. But I just haven't wanted to do that, and probably not a good thing.
I mean, for me, because my channel's still pretty small, so it's not hard to look at other videos, but there's this connection of how do you get people to see the whole story? And a lot of that, like with your posts, at least you can like obviously document it, and then you don't have to post it right away, but maybe a couple months in when you're working on the next step, show what you did previously. Like for me, for the Empyrean video, for example, I did do a couple of shots of me building the board, wiring it up, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes that's a little too much, for me as a fan of yours, like I like it when you post pictures of like the PCBs or you soldering or even just what you're working on personally. But like I do like the real-time aspect of it also, but I guess that just depends on who's watching it at the time,
Yeah, I've been trying to be more active just on my story, doing that kind of stuff on Instagram, and like having that be just kind of like where I post most regularly, and it's less serious, I guess.
Yeah, man.
Whereas, I've been holding myself back from like making a ton of like feed posts just all the time, just to. I don't know. I want it to be more important, I guess, when I like share something on there, but it's also I don't want to just I don't know what, before it used to just be like, oh, like 3 weeks have gone by, I haven't posted, I should post something. So I just put some like random photo and thing there. There wasn't much plan to it.
Right.
I'd like to get to a point where it's like a little bit more planned out and a little bit more like structured, I guess. But I've been saying that for a while. I think planning and like structure are my strong suit, so it's something I got to keep working on.
That makes sense. I mean, like at the end of the day, you are a business owner and you do want to promote the business as much as possible, but at the same time, you don't want to drown people with the same sort of thing,
Yeah, I gotta figure out the balance. I don't think I've been doing myself any favors by like not posting. Like I don't think I've ever really benefited from like posting consistently on any platform.
Okay.
I mean, everybody says like that's gonna help the algorithm or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
anything
yet to
about
get there.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, for example, I was talking to my friend earlier. I shoot in 4K for my videos, just because I can. But I also heard somewhere that the algorithm likes that your video's encrypted for 4K, and it'll tend to push it. But like, I don't see a difference or feel difference, you know.
Right.
So like,
Right.
I don't know how much of it is true or how much of it is, you know, BS. But like, just even hearing
Hard to
that
say.
people say it, like, who knows, you know. But I just keep doing what you're doing, you know.
Yeah. You too, man.
Plus, when you got to,
Yeah.
I feel like if you want to share it, you should. I don't think you should like stop yourself in the moment. But it's definitely nice when like you're one of the few people that do interact with their fans. Like, it's hard for other people. I mean, you're a one-man show also, which is something I do like respect also.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. It's tough to do everything, but you know, I like that. Like, it's a pro and a con. Like, I certainly have a hard time giving up control of things, and like, I don't know that I would like if I had the ability to, like, you know, pay someone to do my social media or something. I don't know if I'd like that. Like, I'm very concerned that it would be something that I like didn't resonate with me personally.
Yeah.
And I want, like, you know, if that was like some other business I had or something, like, whatever, you know, like, say I was cleaning windows or doing something, you know, like, where I'm not really passionately invested in it, and be different. But for this, I feel like, you know, the brand is very much like a reflection of me and my identity. And I want it to be my designs. Like, I want to be the one designing the posts and the videos and stuff. So gonna keep doing it, and you know, I just hope that I can get better at actually, like, the output and just balancing everything. You know? But I am always working behind the scenes on, like, trying to improve my processes, like make the pedals easier to put together, and you know, I think when I can figure out some sort of system for, like, I don't know, documenting, like, my progress and my stuff that I'm working on, like, more efficiently. Yeah. And like, less than in a way I have to think about. When I can figure that out, it'll be good, I think. Because I certainly have no shortage of ideas. It's the implementation that that's the hard part.
I feel the same way with like YouTube. Because you are, like, when you're in charge of everything, like you said, it is hard to let go. And sometimes you just overwhelm yourself with every little detail. Sometimes you just gotta just post it.
Yeah.
Like, I have one video right now fully completed, but I don't want to post it because I feel like the sound's like not even close. And I don't want to post it just to post something. Like, I do want to get it as close to the original tone as I possibly can. Because I don't just want to be somebody who claims they can, when in reality, if I just took a little bit more time, because I was speeding myself up while I was filming that. But I'm definitely going to go back and, like, rework it for sure.
What song was it? Or
it was for Californication.
Okay.
Because I have
find that
Falcon.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, I find it hard to, like, get it exactly right. Like, I can usually, like, I think and I'm also only just using a Strat, right?
And then,
but I feel like if I get it to sound like the verse part, as soon as he starts strumming the chords, like, I find that's like probably the hardest part to get the feel of. And, like, you know, like when he's like strumming the A minor and the F before the chorus.
Yeah.
Because he's
the recording I was doing I found it was a little too. I don't know if it was either too loud or just it had a little bit of distortion in it, and it's supposed to be a really clean, almost flat in terms of how it sounds. But like for some reason, I just can't get it right. But
yeah,
it's hard doing it in here too, because I have like the cabs mic'd up behind me, and when I play, it could still get it gets kind of loud in here, and then like I have headphones on, and when I try to listen back, I feel like, I don't know if like my brain's just tired or my ears are tired, and I'm listening to the same thing over and over and over again, and I forget where the differences are, and then like I come back to it the next day and I go, oh, wow, like it sounds nothing like the original.
right.
So then I have to go back and do it. I feel like if I had like, I don't know, some sort of like ISO boot where I can play live but then track it with my headphones, and maybe I can get closer, but it's hard going back and forth in the same little room that I have here, you know?
Right. The other thing is, you know, you're trying to recreate like something that's mixed on an album, like mixed and mastered, like
remastered,
and then maybe,
also.
Yeah. So, like, in addition to, like, even if you were to match a signal chain exactly, like, there's still a bunch of stuff like processing that's happening afterwards.
Yeah.
Like something I noticed about the Can't Stop tone is, like, if you listen to the soloed guitar, there's almost like this constant like fizz on it, but the guitar itself, like, I think is actually a lot cleaner than people realize. Like, it's loud and it's punchy and it's got some grit to it, but like the way that those bass notes kind of bounce, it's not like super gainy, super saturated,
right?
But like there's that still this like high end sort of fizzle on it all the time, and makes it seem like it's got a distorted sound. And it's like, I wonder, like, where's that coming from? Like, is that
that could be from the room,
some
from the
preamp gain after?
It
like,
could be anything.
You know, yeah. There's so many different things. So if you listen to even how John plays Californication live with the White Falcon, like, I find it sounds a lot darker live than it does on the album.
See, I
Could
think
just
it's
be like
brighter.
some of the ones that I've heard. Maybe
it was brighter when he plays it live. Like, almost overwhelmingly bright.
Maybe it was just a particular show then. I don't know. I played along to like some show recently, and normally when I play Californication with my Strat, I have like the bridge pickup volume or the tone knob at like 10, so as bright as I could go. And playing along with the recording in my headphones, that was like way too bright. I had to turn my tone knob down, but it could have been a particular show.
Yeah. And then like finding it like kind of skeptical of what John actually said that he used, because like there's before you rejoined the band, there was like a house fire, like a lot of his gear got destroyed. And I feel like when he joined the Peppers again and to record Californication, that he probably didn't have that much gear, so it's hard for me to believe that he actually had a White Falcon with him at the time. Like maybe maybe it was in the studio, or I don't know. It's what he said he used, but like, is that what he actually used too? Like, I feel like even the Falcon doesn't get really close. But that could also be like the pickups, or I did find something interesting. There's that video that Jim Scott had with a YouTuber, I forget his name, but he said that for the scar tissue solo that John used his personal his Jaguar, and John says that he used a Tele during that solo. So it's like, who do you believe? Like, the artists or the guys that are recording it? Like, that's another thing too. Like, I don't have a Jaguar to test that theory out, you know?
Right.
But, like, that's like another video I have in my head.
Seems to be like a pretty common thing with John, that somebody else has a different view than he does.
Probably from all the drugs or
this or that.
Know, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, he could just be remembering, like, maybe that's what he did on some demo or something, or maybe I don't know. Who knows? I guess if you do, I don't know.
Are you have you heard of a guy named Aaron Ratch?
What's his name? Sorry.
Aaron Ratch.
Aaron, I don't think so.
He's a YouTuber and he does he recreates Nirvana tones and he gets like the as close as possible. And like
maybe I just didn't know what his name was. I've definitely seen someone recently that was doing like a Nirvana thing like that.
Yeah. Like he's gone through so many speakers, guitar iterations, and he'll change the pickups, bridges, and it's actually really impressive like how close he's actually gotten to getting Kurt Cobain's like
cool.
original tone. It's wild.
A little bit of a simpler signal chain.
Yeah.
At least compared to like John's later stuff.
His whole thing though was the tone that speakers create. So like he knew Kurt used G12T75, but like which one, like one from the 80s, 90s. Like it's hard to track down, but then he realized it was actually like really old vintage Pulsonic greenbacks, like really expensive ones you can't even get anymore. But like he found that was the speaker he used for Nevermind.
Okay.
And like crazy. He plays in the Bloom and it sounds like identical. Like it's crazy. And that's what like inspired me to do like this whole thing.
Right.
See if I could get like as close as I could like to what John used.
The coolest thing for me was the is it like Warm Audio, that preamp?
Yeah, the one I'm using right now.
Yeah. I haven't experimented with any of that kind of stuff. Like, when did you get that?
I got that when, let's see, it was before I started the channel, so I got it because what I was really interested in was the BAE 1073 clone, but that thing's like $3,000 per channel, and this is like a 1,500 one for 2 channels. And I listened to a bunch of A/B tests on YouTube, and like I couldn't tell the difference. But a lot of people have been telling me that like how I get my just a good clean guitar tone, and I don't know if that's because of the preamp, but like I haven't really dabbled into the whole engineering thing. Like I'm still learning. But warm audio is definitely one of the like, you either like them or you don't, because they do sell more affordable gear to people, but they're trying to replicate old vintage sounds from old consoles or old outboard gear. And it's definitely like, it's really just fun to get into.
Yeah. And
it's pretty cool. The Neve stuff is obviously like world renowned. Like if you're an engineer, like you've heard of the, Neve and stuff. But the reason why I got into like the whole outboard gear thing was because Jim Ratt, who used to be the sound engineer for the Chili Peppers when they would play shows, toured with them for like 20 years or something, and he broke down his whole signal chain of the Midas console he used, the compressors, and like that was also fascinating to me, like the whole engineering part of it. Like, oh, I wonder if that's like another like the whole signal path again. Like, I wonder if that adds or subtracts from what you hear from them live as opposed to what you hear from the console and stuff,
Right. So much to it, man.
Yeah,
it's cool.
That's another video I want to do, like break down the whole live channel system that they used when they play live, obviously.
Yeah, it definitely goes back to like a bit different.
Yeah, but it's all the same sort of functionality. You have a preamp, compressor, goes into your audio interface. But then I read somewhere that Dave Bratt said that what you hear in like performance videos isn't what you hear from the console. Like somebody had to be there with their own system to record what the mixing desk was getting, and then they probably did something to the sound just to make it sound better for DVD or musical release.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'd like to learn, like, now that, you know, I played that show the other day and like we've been practicing out loud, like I want to learn a bit more about that kind of stuff too, like live sound even like just how to set up like a vocal signal chain, like when I'm, you know, trying to use a microphone now. It's like it's hard to dial all this stuff in perfectly. It's sometimes, you know, like it's hard to hear yourself when you're jamming really loud. So like
Yeah, you
I
can get
spend all
really
my
like
time
meticulous with it also.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time like dialing in these presets, playing along with the tracks, but I'm listening to it in my headphones. Like I feel like I'm getting pretty much the same sound out of my speakers when I go and play, but you know, it's still, you know, obviously listening in headphones is going to be a little bit different than what's going on in a room playing out loud.
Right.
So free.
Yeah, there's like there's not a lot of videos about others. I was watching a couple like people who work front of house, like what their day to day is, and when they like do rehearsal or sound checks. But like it's a whole nother process that like something I want to get into.
Yeah.
But it's like there's just so much of it that like it's hard to like find where I can get the most information out of whatever time I have to sit down and actually learn.
Yeah. Yeah,
But for the most part, it's like
thing.
for the most part, it's like a guitar pedal. You know, you just turn it on and you just set it, turn it on, and like forget it. You know.
Right. I was just gonna say, like, it's the same thing with pedals, man, or like learning anything else new you don't know about. It's hard to figure out like what exactly you should be learning next, or like where do I get started? You know, that's like always the biggest thing. But I guess you just do it and you go from there. Like,
yeah,
that's the biggest thing I've realized about any of this stuff, or even like getting up and playing and singing the other day. Like, I could keep thinking about all the stuff I need to prepare to do, or I could just go out and like do it, you know?
Yeah.
And next time, hopefully, is going to be a little better.
Exactly.
That's what it's been like with the pedals, man. Like, just trying to improve. Just trying to improve a little bit at a time. But, you know, hopefully do a better job documenting it. Keep creating the content.
Yeah. You too, dude.
Yeah.
So
hey, man, well, I got to run, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's all good.
But it's been great to chat with you, and we'll have to do it again. Like, try and get a little bit more into the gear and stuff. I didn't.
For sure.
I didn't expect we'd be talking about Guitar Hero, but that's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I remember. Right, man. Well, I think you mentioned it in one of your videos, right? In your podcast, I think.
Play Guitar Hero?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. And when I heard it, I was like, "Oh, perfect. We have a topic for the podcast that we would do."
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, yeah, man. Thank you for having me. Love to do it again sometime.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks again.
See you later.
Take care.
You too.